God, blimey, Jenkins. It's cold in here, I can tell by the colour of your extremities. What temperatures we got in here? Let's have a look. Oh, let's go and check the mill as well. God, it is cold, Jenkins. But let it never be said that Tweed's Garage is a fair weather video channel. Let's get on. Hello and welcome to Tweed's Garage. Oh, snot's falling out again. So, welcome back to Tweed's Garage, where in this video I'm going to do a little update on the Ducati Cucciolo, little pup. So for those of you who have seen the last video, you'll know that I managed to get hold of an engine, but it was missing a few parts. For those of you that don't, I'll put a little link at the end of the video to the other video, so you know what we're talking about. Yeah, so I was missing a few bits and had a look on eBay and places like that, and Cucciolo spares are very expensive, as I think I said before, but struck lucky. Look, managed to get the very after and rare aluminium crank, right hand crank with the starter ring on the inside, all in good order. It might have been rebushed at some time for the pedal, but it's not actually cracked or broken, and the gearing is yeah, in pretty good shape. It's a bit rough where obviously the engine sort of bangs against it when the gear's freewheeling, but they are riveted on, so there's a possibility you could move them round to bits that aren't worn so much. So yeah, you can see it's obviously, don't know, either stopped there or there a lot of the time, so all the wear's there and there. There's not a lot of wear there and there. So that's that. It come with a few other bits and bobs. Got a few, got an old brake hub there, a few coils, another flywheel, might always be handy. So yeah, got that and that, and we managed to get the main thing that I was worried that I wouldn't get was the two-part gear. So it's a start gear on the outside and the drive gear on the inside. The start gear has a sort of clutch on it, a one-way clutch, so it will turn one way and freewheel the other. So it will turn when you're sort of pedaling to start the engine, and then when the engine runs, it just freewheels quite happily, but obviously chatters against the pedals, the cranks, hence this wear here and here. There, see? Yeah, so managed to find one. It's over here, let's go and have a look. And here it is. You can see this is the starting gear. It sort of freewheels this way, but locks when it goes that way. And then this is the drive sprocket on the back. Yeah, unfortunately, or fortunately, there's a bit of a catch, because it's attached to another engine, which is attached to a frame. So let's have a look. And here it is on a French moped. French moped, you say? Well, yeah, apparently they were built under licence, these engines. See, this is Cucciolo 50, licensed Ducati, M.ROCHER, France. So it looks like they were built under licence in France. So it's all complete. Doesn't turn over at the moment. And there's a little bit of butchery and buggery going on in its lifetime, but we'll go through that. And there it is. I mean, it looks a lot shinier in the photo, as they always do. Close up, it's had a restoration at some time, just a paint can restoration, I think. But yeah, it's a good basis to get started on. So, what's the plan? Well, I think the plan is, I'm convinced, I'm not going to go under the lathe bending down on my knees in this temperature to drag the other engine out, but I think the castings are nicer on the Ducati engine than they are on this under licence M.ROCHER engine. But we've got enough to build one complete engine out of the two. You know, getting this was a bonus. These go missing, so yeah, we're sort of halfway there. These are the clamps to clamp it onto the bottom spindle of your bicycle frame. And I've got all the generator stuff. The generator was broken on this one, but I've got all the generator stuff with the Ducati engine. So we've got it all. We've got it all. There's sort of a strange thing going on here. This is actually a casting. I don't think, yeah, this is part of the casting. I'm not sure if it was used for something else and they've used it here, but this is sort of like a homegrown bracket here, multiple bolts. I think there was a rod that went through here to there on the other side. Yeah, it comes through there to here, this arm here, which is bolted on to the gear selector to select between first, second and neutral. Now it doesn't indent very well, seems to be a bit slack there, so that needs investigating. And this is the clutch lever is homemade. You can see sort of somebody's made this. So I suspect, like my engine, the very fragile clutch operating arm combined with gear selector arm has broken. Somebody's made this and put this on here, because I think originally these holes in the frame here would have been for a cable or a lever to come down here and then rock this arm backwards and forwards here to move this left and right, selecting first and second gear and neutral. So other things that aren't original on here, well, I think it was owned by a French plumber, going by the fittings welding on here, or a gas fitter. So we've got this carburettor on here and this sort of very sturdy exhaust pipe. Looks like it's made out of a bit of old water main or something. Yeah, it goes along here, quite a sturdy thing. And then I think another piece of gas tubing bent up there to make an exhaust. Yeah, for some reason they've had the carburettor come through here at an angle. And then this carburettor, I recognise these. I think this is a Gertner carburettor as used on mobilette mopeds. So I think when it was restored, the original carb's been replaced with this. I sort of know it's a mobilette piece because they've got the mobilette choke lever on there, or decompressor lever. Yeah, decompressor lever with the Motor BECKON logo on it there. And all the rest seems to be there. Push rods are there, rockers are there, decompressor, that's all okay. All the important bits are on it that I need to make a complete moped or motorcycle. Yeah, the styling is, it's not as, let's pull you out a bit, or as far out as you can go. Styling is, how shall we say, a bit... Shut that door! French. Sort of a step through style, rather than the Ducati was more of a gents bicycle frame style and had girder forks on the front, so they did look like and the tank up at the top, they did look like a very nice little motorbike. So this is definitely more push bike moped style, and it's got these weird sort of bunny ear handlebars that go down the fork tubes like that. I mean, yeah, they're in a bit narrow there. We're not going sort of path racing. They're just been moved in so it's easy to store. What else has he got in here? Looks like they've nicked a gear change lever off of a racing bicycle. But I think this is a genuine lever control. Oh, he says, yeah, it's not attached very well. It doesn't actually go into anything yet. And then weirdly, you've got levers, cables going in. Yes, it goes to there. We've got this cable. No, it doesn't go anywhere. It's been cut off. Cables that go into the handlebar. So originally the cables were all sort of hidden away within the handlebars. So it was sort of quite stylish at the time. I'm not sure where they came out. I suspect, I'll have to investigate. Maybe they had twist controls rather than all these levers. Yeah, fuel tank up here. So I've got a nice size fuel tank on, so we can probably go to yeah, Edinburgh and back, I should imagine, with the MPG that these do, reportedly. Comes with a centre stand, sort of concealed spring in there, so it doesn't actually, you have to sort of hold it down and push the bike back on it so that it'll go on the stand. Little toolboxes, one each side, handy little rack, little toolbox, sprung saddle. Yeah, and it has got suspension on the front, but being French, M.ROCHER decided to redesign the wheel and come up with this arrangement. So it sort of works like, I think some of the Grise and Francis Barnet, it sort of works in, I can't do it and hold you at the same time. I'll put you on a tripod maybe. Yeah, let me do that. So yeah, here's the suspension. So rather than working under compression, it works under tension, and it's a sort of trailing link rather than a leading link. You know, they've done it right arse about face. So there's a little sort of return spring or backstop spring there when the suspension comes back. It works under compression. And then he must have raided his wife's corset drawer to use these bungees. There's bungees on either side. Yeah, I mean, you know, you're not going to get replacements for those. You probably have to replace them with springs. And I'm not quite sure what happens when these break. I'll have to take them off and see if there's a sort of safety stop on the suspension so your front suspension doesn't collapse completely. Yeah, trust the French to design something really awkward. But he was so confident about it, they patented the design. And as we know, all motorcycles have front suspension like this. Not. Yeah, and as you can see, the rest of the bike is almost there. The only thing that's missing is a set of wheels. I think it's probably 19-inch sort of moped style wheels. You can get the rims for those, tyres, spokes, not too much of a problem. Hubs, I've got a front hub with a brake, which I showed you. Then that come with a box of bits. The rear hub, not so sure. I'll have to have a little search through, but they did used to fit to these sometimes a Sturmey Archer 3-speed, which would give you a 6-speed box. And I've got one of those just up there. The only thing it hasn't got is a sort of hub brake on it. But I think it's a dyno hub, so I might be able to use the hub as a brake hub rather than just a housing for the dyno hub. Anybody that sort of knows Sturmey Archers, let me know whether that's possible or not. So it's getting a bit nippy in here, so we'll go inside, we'll look at a few pictures of complete ones of these and have a little chat about Monsieur M.ROCHER, and oh yeah, and I'll talk to you about my TV work. So for those that don't know, Ducati produced their Cucciolo engine originally as a sort of complete package to be bolted onto a bicycle frame. So anybody could buy one, put it on a frame, and instant moped. And then later on, because the engine was so successful, they went to sort of produce their own motorcycle with this engine in it. Yeah, and it sort of ran for quite a long time. I think it eventually went up to 65cc before they sort of went on to produce bigger motorcycles. But they also allowed the engine to be sold under licence in the UK. Britax, a company now known for seat belts and child seats, they sort of dabbled with importing these and acting as an agent, and produced quite a few nice looking little motorcycle versions with the Cucciolo engine in it. So the same thing in France. There's a company called M.ROCHER, industrial company, and amongst other things they produce these engines under license. So as you can see, they sort of stamp their name on the flywheel, and it's stamped into the castings as well. It's quite a large company. I think it's had about 3,000 employees at the height of its success, but finally sort of disappeared in sort of around 1956. So they produced the engines like Ducati as a standalone unit and supplied it to different moped manufacturers around France. And there was quite a few of these, as you can see by this little list of agents. And yeah, so we have manufacturers like AGF, who made this model with a sort of tubular frame and the headlight mounted in the end. I think it's a slightly later one, or it's got the accessory of a cover over the valve gear so you don't get covered in oil. There's one called Carly and another one called Zwang. Yeah, stop sniggering at the back there. And yeah, Eriac seemed to be sort of a slightly larger producer of these mopeds and had some nice marketing. Like Britax in the UK and Ducati in Italy, a lot of sort of speed records and competitions were completed on these small bikes. And then M.ROCHER had a claim to quite a few, sort of 100 kilometres, 50 kilometres, 20 sort of endurance records, whether the French had sort of adjusted the regulations to suit slightly. You know, sort of like it's got to be a 4-stroke moped with pedals, manufactured in France, painted blue, and ridden by a chap called Marcel. You know, like the 1966 Monte Carlo Rally, where they tweaked the regulations and got the victorious Mini Coopers disqualified and allowing the Citroen DS's to take the trophy. Yeah, I'm still not bitter about it. Yeah, they seem to do endurance rides as well. I found this sort of marketing poster for an 1800 kilometre ride from Paris to Tokyo on one of the M.ROCHER Cucciolo powered Eriac mopeds. Whether it actually made it, I don't know. Not speaking French, I couldn't sort of interrogate the internet enough to find out. But if anybody knows or has got any info, yeah, let us know. But as you can see, yeah, there's many sort of different varieties of moped with this engine in, produced in France. And I think the one that I have is a baby moto. I think this was produced by M.ROCHER. They did produce a couple of different types. There was one with a VAP4, which is a 2-stroke motor in, more of an economy model. And then there's the Cucciolo powered one, which is what I have hanging in the garage. And when it's all tidied up, it should sort of look a bit like this. Maybe with not so much chrome, price of chroming and all that. But yeah, there you go. Something a bit different, and nice to have a frame to put the engine in. So we'll keep you posted with that in future videos. And now for TV news. For those that have been following my community page, I made an announcement that I'm going to be on an up and coming new series called David and Jay's Touring Toolshed, which stars Jay Blade and Britain's national treasure David Jason. So how did this all happen? Well, I was contacted via email by the production company asking whether I'd be interested in sort of having an interview for appearing on this new up and coming series. And I said, yeah, I'd give it a go. So had a little interview, and that was sent off to the production company. They saw my YouTube channel and liked that, and they sort of liked the way I come across. So they offered me the chance to be involved in the new series. So the repair they wanted me to do, it was a Second World War matchless G3 that hadn't been run for quite a long time. So I was to sort of have a look at it and see if we could get it running. That was the idea. So I spent a little bit of time doing a bit of research, and it wasn't like some of the TV magic where they do something in a day, but it really took a week. This fix I had to do on the day, so I didn't actually see the vehicle until the morning I got up there, and then had to try and fix it in the middle of a field with aircraft flying around and Joe Public standing behind. And just as I was about to get ready to go and do that repair, they then contacted me again and said, would you be interested in sort of doing a job on an alternator, seeing if you can convert it into a motor. So I said, well, I'll have a little research and see what we can do. So I had a little research on good old YouTube and on the internet, had a read up on it and said, yeah, I think I could do it. So the first venue was the Midlands Air Festival, which is a festival of hot air balloons, light aircraft, model aircraft, stuff like that, in a sort of stately home not far from Birmingham. So I said, yeah, I'll have a look at that, give that a go. So I packed my tools up and headed off to the Midlands that weekend. So upon getting up there, found that the team were all new. They're all part of Jay's new production company. So the first day's filming was the first day for everybody. But yeah, it sort of went well, I think. I mean, I'm not giving it away. I'm not going to tell you whether it went well or not. But yeah, it was very enjoyable. Nice chap owned the bike, and yeah, the team were lovely, really nice. And it was nice because I've sort of been self-employed, work on my own quite a lot, and a service engineer. Yeah, get used to being on your own quite a lot. It was nice working with a team, and we got on really well. So it's sort of a bit like a little family by the end of it. So it's really enjoyable. So yeah, the first location was there, and I thought that was the end of it. Then I went home, and then a couple of weeks later they contacted me and said, "Oh, do you think you could have a look at a tractor?" So I sort of said, "Well, let me have a little read up on it, and yeah, I'll get back to you." So I had done a little bit of research, and I told them, you know, an engine's an engine. I'll have a look at it. So the next time I was off up to between Manchester and Liverpool to the Kelsall Steam Fair. So packed up my tools again and went up there for the weekend, and had a look at that, and gave it my best shot. So that was that, and then I thought that was it. We sort of jokingly said, "Oh, you can't fix a boat, can you?" I said, "Well, you know, an engine is an engine," and they laughed and sort of said, "Well, cheerio, it's been nice working with you," and off I went. Because the last sort of film location was right up in Scotland, at sort of on the coast, just sort of above Aberdeen. And anyway, I sort of forgot about it, and then a sort of week or so later, I had a sort of phone call saying, "Would you fancy going up to Scotland?" I said, "Well, yeah, I wouldn't mind. I can do that." So I don't fancy driving though. But they were really good. They sort of flew me up there, so I sort of made my way up to the airport, flew up to Aberdeen, and then sort of rental car, drove up to my hotel, stayed overnight, and then went up to Cullen Bay, or just Cullen, on the Sunday morning. And it was a sort of glorious morning, a bit sharp with the wind and that, but it was absolutely glorious scenery up there. I think when you see the programme, it has been really well filmed. They all say it looks really good, so I'm looking forward to that coming out and watching that. So after meeting the crew again, it was down to business and start working on project number 4. This was a bit more extreme. It wasn't just in a field, it was on the beach, on a bench made from scaffold planks, and with my tools on there. But it was a glorious location, really nice, really picturesque, and yeah, it was a privilege to go up there. And then that was all finished. So that will be coming up. There's sort of 15 episodes starting on the 22nd of January. Where are we now? It's Friday, 19th of January, 2024. For anybody watching this 10 years down the line, you might still be able to find it on iPlayer. But yeah, was it fun to make? Yeah, you bet. Yeah, the team were really nice. It was nice sort of working with my hands like I do on this channel, but actually having sort of professionals doing the filming and somebody else sorting out the microphones and worrying about the sound, and me not having to do it. So all I had to do was sort of do the repairs. So that was good. And of course, yeah, met Jay. He's really nice. And of course, the Britain's national treasure, David Jason. And I can happily report that he is an absolute darling, as they say in the trade. He's really nice, and he's as you'd expect him to be. It was lovely to work with him, and it was a real privilege. So next week, 6:30, Monday to Friday, over the next 3 weeks, tune into BBC Two to see David and Jay's Touring Toolshed. And it's been confirmed that all my fixes made it, so none of it went on the cutting room floor. So I'm in episode 5, episode 10, episode 11, and the final episode 15, which I think is the boat repair up in Cullen. So that'll be a sort of a feast for the eyes. So I think even the good ladies might like watching it, because I think this sort of, you know, filming of dolphins or porpoises out in the sea behind. And it's a really good program. It's not just mechanical things, it's hobbies and tinkering. So there was all sorts of things. There was pairing soft toys, there was stained glass windows, gold leaf going on, there was automatons being made to function, sign writing, lawnmower racing, all sorts of things, all things that are done in sheds. So yeah, good entertainment for all the family. So gather round and gather your family round and watch it, and let your friends know and get them to watch it, because the more of you watch it, there might be a chance of a second season. So there you go. Till next time. See you again. Cheerio. So there you go. Possibility of getting a Ducati Cucciolo. Bars, drop your snot. So there you go. Possibility.